And we're live. Oh, you look like you're in black and white almost. Like it's the lighting. You do.
Weird.
You look like you're.
Yeah.
You look like you're in like a classic movie, and I look like I'm in a John Hughes film.
Yep.
Oh, except that I would be like the crazy mother in the John Hughes film, not one of the teens in the John Hughes film.
This is the blue.
I'm not delusional. Oh.
This is the blue filter.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Oh. Ooh, that's like you're like a vampire.
Speaking of, we can't speak of it, but I wanted to. Something
Can't
that
we?
happened earlier today. Nope. You know what I'm talking about.
Do I?
I'm just going to leave. That happened earlier today. Vampires.
Oh. Welcome, everyone, to C&C Conversation. Episode 16. Don't spit. Don't spit.
I know.
It's not polite. Yeah,
Mama always told me to swallow.
It's going to be one of those shows. I see. Okay. All right. Yeah, well, we saw some of you out there on Monday when we finally we're getting our asses back in gear to do these shows.
Yeah.
And, maybe we came off a little too cheerful, or maybe it was just the right amount of cheerful for the happenings over the weekend.
Well, I think so. I mean, I'm sure we're all a little relieved now that we have
the world was relieved.
Relieved the world. I mean, I was getting texts from friends all over the globe.
Me too.
Like,
yeah,
we are with you. Thank God. Like people are cheering. Like,
yes. Yes. Everybody, but perhaps Russia and maybe even
they're
China.
like literally the only ones who haven't congratulated Biden, right? Like even Turkey, Erdogan was like, that asshole.
Yeah, so it gives us a little sense of optimism, at least,
Yes, unfortunately, we have to.
Well, we still have to
talk about him anymore.
Nope, not gonna do it. I'm gonna ignore him.
Yeah,
that's how I like our last show. I like to just sort of ignore things. I think that's the way to handle problems. I think that's best.
Yeah,
that's what I do at home too.
Gosh.
That's what I do at home. Like, problem? Nope, no problem.
What? La. Yep.
No problems. But yeah, so it's been a much more uplifting week. Other than the fact that we've got our COVID back. Thank you, COVID.
Oh, back and better than ever.
With a vengeance.
With a vengeance, COVID.
Cheers, by the way. Cheers.
Cheers.
This is not going to last the show. I started.
No, this wine will not either.
No, I can't get my straw.
I don't know. Do you want fun sports news?
Sure. What's some fun sports news?
The Masters is happening this weekend. I don't know anything about golf, really.
I was going to say that's fun. I guess if you're into golf, that's fun.
But you and I both like theme, like a theme party and things to theme. Right. So I was like, well, I have to find out because the Masters is being watched in my presence right now this weekend, and I was like, well, I got to figure out like what kind of food is there's got to be a food or something, and there's a pimento cheese sandwich that's like the thing at Augusta.
That's a classic. Okay, all right, that's a classic.
I made
southern thing.
Yeah, so I made pimento cheese sandwiches, and I even like cut the recipe in half because it seemed like a lot. I'm going to be having cheese sandwiches for maybe a year.
Oh,
it's so much.
Well, we're here if you need any.
I have plenty. Plenty.
Fran is asking, is that the same drink from our pregame happy hour? Yes, Fran, it is. I was nursing it. It is the same.
Having soup.
Well, you guys
were pre-gaming.
It's one of my hard kombuchas again, but this particular one is kind of a high, I think it's like a 9%. So
ooh, it's a crazy
I'm good.
kombucha.
I'm good. That's why I'm nursing it. I think that's probably the wise thing to do. Oh, Fran will take some pimento cheese too. So
I made a grilled. It's not supposed to be grilled. It's just supposed to be on white bread. But I grilled it today, and it was delicious. Just like melty, and,
real good. That sounds real good.
Yeah.
I'll
look at how fun we're not even talking about anything political. We're just talking about dumb cheese sandwiches. This is great.
Yeah, it's been a long time, right? Yeah. Well, some things are all consuming, and it was hard to get out of the headspace that we were in. So now we just have a pandemic to worry about.
We have a pandemic, and then we also have 2 runoff seats in Georgia. Let's get political again really quickly that we should focus on. Like, let's get these guys in there.
Get out there, people. Let's get those seats. Yeah, writing some more postcards. Got to get my right arm ready again. What?
Can COVID be? This is going to be real dumb. So I was giving blood. I didn't tell you the story yet.
Compared to what?
The cheese sandwich story? Well, the question I had was really dumb, but I'll save it till after the story really quickly. So I went to give blood at the Pantages Theater here in Los Angeles. They do a blood drive like every couple of months with the American Red Cross. So you go to give blood, and everything's super separated, like, it's very safe and all that kind of stuff. But when I was done, I sat up, and I just see this woman who's like across, and it's in the lobby, so you know where that is. So you have it in your head. She's pretty far away from me, but I just see like just blood gushing and dripping to the ground.
Oh God. No.
Yeah. And like,
she like rip out the
I don't know what happened, because I had just sat up, and then I saw like 3 techs over there with her, and they're like trying to wipe everything up. And I was like, all I could think of was very selfishly like, oh God, COVID. Oh
my God. That's horrifying. That's not what you want to see. I donated for the first time a couple of months ago. Mine was in Burbank. It wasn't as fancy as your Pantages. But there was nobody, with blood spurting out of them. So I guess that's a bonus.
That was nuts. I mean, like, I don't know if they couldn't find a vein or whatever. Like, I don't know.
That's what happened to me when I went. Is I always, when I have to, get a blood test or something, I always tell them they have to use a child's needle on me, because my veins are tiny and they can never find them, or they can never get it going. So I told them that there, and they were like, oh, we don't have children's needles. I was like, oh, okay. All right. They're like, well, we'll just do our best, see what we can do. They try on one arm, they're doing the whole thing, they're everything. Let's try the other arm. They had to still.
Oh my God.
It took them a couple tries to finally find something, and then they got it in there, and they're like, squeezing. They're like, oh, okay, there it goes. Like, took them forever to find it. So if I had my first time giving blood had been at the Pantages and seen that,
might have been the gusher.
I'd have been like, nope, I'm out of here.
I'm the opposite. Like, they're like, you got great veins always. Like, I have no issues. Like,
I even tried drinking water. They say drinking water first will help, but it didn't happen.
Well, I also used to, like, in high school, like, used to do this because I was really into Anne Rice and like all of the.
You make it all pale.
Just like, I really wanted it pale, and then like my veins just to pop.
Oh God.
So, I know, fucking weirdo.
Well, you're kind of doing an Anne Rice vibe right now.
Thank you. I even read her erotic novels that she wrote.
Wow.
Very bondage, S&M stuff.
I missed the Anne Rice thing. It started when I was in, I think, middle school. That's when everybody was reading it, and I wasn't really allowed to read them. I'm surprised you read them. Did you read them when you were an adult?
I snuck all of that. No. I snuck them. But I've always been obsessed with vampires, like even from an early age. Like, I would rent books from the library, and my mother, who's, they're very Christian, they love Jesus, was so worried about me because she was like, these are the devil.
That's fair. My mom worried about me.
She should have been worried. Yeah, I was going to say, she had other things to worry about, not my vampire.
Far more things to worry about. Well, I think we should bring our guest on.
Move it along.
Let's move it along. As you can see from our screen there, our guest tonight is one of our favorite magicians. And
yes, Fran.
He is another Anne Rice, Sleeping Beauty.
Yep.
Yes, he's one of our favorite magicians, and he's one of these guys who we like. Hey, can you do a thing? And he's like, okay, sure. So we love that.
Say it like that.
Well, it's in text, so that's how I'm reading it in my head. Let's add him in and find out.
Hi.
Hello. Hi.
Hey, you popped me on just as I was scratching my nose.
We pay attention.
I thought you were doing like a Bewitched thing.
Oh, yeah, no.
Or maybe finishing a line.
I don't know what happens over there. We don't judge.
No, we're not judging. We're not judging. How are you?
I am. I'm doing surprisingly well. I don't want to brag, but in the last 8 months, I have only aged 6 years. So,
I was gonna say the scruff is nice.
Yeah, I like the facial hair.
And 5 of those 6 years are the beard right here. It adds at least 5 years.
It's good. I like it.
Yeah.
Very, yeah.
God bless you for saying that. I know you don't mean it. God bless you.
I do mean it. Yes. It's very sexy, Handsome Jack. Very sexy.
If I thought any human being would ever look at me, which doesn't happen because I haven't been leaving my apartment. But if I thought anyone would see me, I would actually dye this shit. But
I know somebody who does that. He'll dye it blue.
Blue.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have considered blue, but now you put that in my head.
Yeah.
Look up Ira Bear. You'll find his photo, and he's been blue in the goatee for a long time. It's great.
Wow. All right. I want to see this then. I want maybe if you're gonna do something for our next show. Hint, hint. Maybe you can have a colored beard. Maybe. No? Did I just killed the conversation?
Perhaps I can. I'll do a Photoshop test and see.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. So what have you been doing over this last 8, 10, 20 years, month?
Yeah.
As all your viewers know. So when the pandemic hit and quarantine came along, and all the gigs I had booked as a performer went away overnight. Fortunately for me, a lot of writing gigs came my way. I have written a handful of magic books, and so a lot of people contact me, said, "Hey, will you write this book? And will you write this book? And will you work with me on this?" And so I've been very productive and very busy writing on various writing projects that are keeping me sane and bringing in just a little teeny bit of money.
As it goes, right? But that's good.
Yeah.
Good.
Speaking of books, I happen to have this right here.
Oh my God. Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah. The Handsome Jack book. Yeah. It's a great looking book. I love it.
She hasn't looked in
really
it.
Fun.
She just she thinks
Not
it's
true.
really pretty though.
I've looked in it.
Ricky, there are lots of pictures in there. You can look.
I know. I know. Look. I found one.
Yeah.
It's funny. I marked this one in particular because it is what we say to Handsome Jack. Handsome Jack, I think the best magician I ever saw was Teller. I'll never forget an amazing trick that he did, ... What he hears, blah, blah, handsome, blah, 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 best magician, blah, 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 amazing trick, blah, blah. Yeah. And I thought that was quite funny because not only because it's just quite funny, but there was when Dave and I were pretty new dating, before we were married and stuff, we were at Largo, the old Largo. And, oh God, now I'm going to blank on his name. I've just lost it. God damn
Is it a magician's name?
Oh no.
It's a magician. He does a trick where a card ends up in his ass.
Derek Hughes.
Derek Hughes.
Oh.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
I knew you'd know him by that. Anyway, we're watching. I'm laughing hysterically. He's hilarious. And I was like, oh my God, he's the funniest guy I've ever seen. To Dave Foley. Who just looked at me. Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what he would rather preferred to hear was blah blah blah. Funniest man.
I hope you figure. Oh, he's the funniest guy I've ever seen. I mean, he's not as funny as Kevin McDonald, but he's funny.
I wish I'd thought of that then. I wish I thought of it.
So for the viewers, I want to explain that cartoon you showed. In the book, there are 30 portraits or caricatures of Handsome Jack, all done in a different style, some of a different artist. And that is the Gary Larson style. That, of course, is the Keith Haring style. So there's 30 drawings. And that was just not a parody, but an homage to a classic Gary Larson a cartoon. I wasn't stealing his joke. Oh, there we go. This one. Yeah. Judge me by what I do, not what I wear.
Yeah.
Oh,
who did?
Yeah. Cool.
Who did all of the artwork? All different people.
I did all.
You did all of them. Really?
I did them. Yes.
I guess I should have read the book.
But who's got that kind of time?
It's not true though. I did read some of the book because when I first got the book from you, you said to me, at least read the first chapter. You said read the introduction and read the chapter. The first chapter. I was like, got it.
Yeah.
So I did,
and then you can stop there.
Yeah. Well, actually, I'm gonna practice some tricks, and maybe for this next C&C show, I'll do one of your tricks.
Hey, I can do some. You don't know this, Handsome Jack, but I, as a young dancer, was an assistant. Was an assistant to a magician. Yes, as a young dancer.
Well,
so I have experience.
Was this in Texas? Where was that?
It was in Texas. It was in Dallas. And, like as one does when you're a dancer, you start doing these gigs like industrials for like Sally Beauty Supply or GMC, all sorts of stuff. And so I worked with a guy, a bunch of us dancers worked with a specific guy who later, I think his mom funded everything and like got him a theater out in Vegas or a space out in Vegas somewhere. And it was one of the worst jobs I've ever had. But I know how to do these things.
Well, magicians are horrible. Sorry.
Not usually.
Do you remember or can you say his name? Yeah. Can you
I
say
don't care.
His name?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Steve Wyrick.
Oh my God. This the worst magician on the planet.
The worst.
Oh, that is hilarious.
And he got a Letterman. It was a nightmare of a job. It was a nightmare of a job. But it paid well.
He got money from somebody, and like you say, probably his mommy or somebody.
It was his mom.
A theater in.
It was his mom.
Yeah,
I love that.
And there's a magazine, a magic magazine called Magic Magazine.
Clever.
Enough.
What are we judging? Clever. We have C&C as our.
It's true.
So they, write articles every month. They put another magician on the cover and write an article about them, and they're always puff pieces. They never really. It's not hard hitting journalism. Let's just put it that way. And then in the magazine admitted his show sucks was Steve Wyrick.
He had like no stage presence. Like I've never seen anything like it in my life. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, now I want to see it.
He was on Letterman.
I've got a story about this
terrible show.
You what?
Oh my God.
So I've got a story about that. So I was in Vegas. I was visiting. I'm good friends with David Copperfield's producer. And so I was in Vegas visiting with him. And so David's producer, a guy named Chris and David Copperfield and one or two other people from his office and we went to the Steve Wyrick Theater because Steve wanted to show David his theater. So Copperfield and Chris and Homer and we go over there and we're looking at the theater and Wyrick says, David, I want to show you backstage. So he took David backstage and the rest of us were there in the theater looking at it. And we told a story about how one time Steve Wyrick did a trick where he disappears from the theater and then he appears in the back of the room. And in this show, what it was is he disappears from the theater, he goes around, he's in the lobby, he comes through the door and runs through the theater is the trick. And somebody had locked the door to the theater. And so he disappears, and all of a sudden there's this pounding on the back of the theater, pound, 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 pound. And someone goes, let them in. And I tell that story. And as that story is finishing up, Chris gets a phone call from David Copperfield. He goes, yeah, okay, I'll be right there. And he goes, I have to go let them out. They've locked themselves in the dressing room. So Steve Wyrick locked himself in his own dressing room while giving David.
This is such like a Spinal Tap moment.
Yeah.
Wow. I guess mommy didn't tell him how to use locks.
Yeah. When you danced for him, did you do what we call in the business any box jumping? Do you know the term box jumping?
No, I don't know the term. But perhaps I did a few things where I had to change a lot of wigs and.
Okay. They're the ones who get in the boxes and the woman gets sawed in half.
Oh,
or
yes.
she gets dissected or she vanishes or that kind of stuff. Or those we call them box jumpers. Did you do some of that?
Yeah. Yes.
Was that fun or interesting or I mean, other than the fact you're working for Steve Wyrick, was it fun or interesting?
I think outside of that, it would have been super fun. It was just, dealing with him and like our rehearsals were from like 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. And like, it was just, it was weird and kind of awful. But
that's crazy.
But fun. Absolutely.
I've got one more story about him. And I have to just
you'd have so many stories about him.
It's not my story. Yeah, this is not my story to tell, so I will disguise the identity of the person who told it to me. But he's a very well-known, very successful magician, not David Copperfield, but very well-known, successful magician. And Steve Wyrick's show opened, and a bunch of the Vegas magicians went and saw the show. And afterwards, they were backstage saying, "Ooh, congratulations, Steve." And Steve said to this magician, who'd been very successful and very famous for about 20 years at that point. And Steve goes, "Oh, man, you can't believe what it's been like to get this show up and running. The publicity I'm doing, the morning talk shows that I on the radio I have to do and the newspaper news and rehearsing a show, man, you can't believe what it's been like." And this magician said to him, "Well, you're not going to have to worry about that much longer." and Steve Wyrick had no idea what he had said to him.
Get it.
It was perfect. It was perfect.
Wow.
Wow. That's brilliant. Oh my God.
Oh man.
That's excellent.
Brings back memories.
Wow. I'm really sorry I missed that time in your life.
I know. I mean, I got paid a lot, so it's great, but.
Handsome Jack, which, by the way, go ahead.
Yeah.
You were going to say something.
No, you first.
Well, I might go take it somewhere else.
It.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad because you know what? I'm old and I'll forget. No, I just wanted to, it's totally off the subject, but as, as of course we always, even though you're our friends, we look people up online, we stalk you guys. And I found when I looked up Handsome Jack, I found an interesting picture of you. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping you can kind of explain it. I'm going to share my screen and then maybe you can explain this to us. Right. Okay. So let's see. It is this one. Do you see it?
That is
That
is Handsome Jack.
Would be the other hand Jack. Yes.
The what?
Handsome Jack was the main villain in the video game Borderlands, and apparently in Borderlands 2. Yes. Although I'm not a big video game. But the Handsome Jack was basically named after me. The man who owns the company, Gearbox Software, that created Borderlands, is a lifelong magician. And so he was familiar with me. We're good friends. We're very, very good friends. But when we started the company, we didn't really know each other. But he knew my work and it might be overstating it to say he was a fan, but I'll say he was a fan. And so they called the villain Handsome Jack. I wouldn't say in honor of me, but as a reference to me. And
in honor of you.
Yeah.
Okay. And I met him. He came and saw me perform once and introduced himself. And he told me about the game and the character. And I went, oh, that's really great. And then we became friends. And he then, because he became a zillionaire from his video game company, when he built a house for himself, he built a 100-seat theater in his house, like you do, and started producing.
Well, that's a dream.
So he produced these monthly variety shows in his house, and I remember thinking, "Oh man, I wish Randy would hire me to come perform at this." He called it the Peacock Theater. And I said, I want to go perform at the Peacock Theater. And so I got the call. He said, hey, come perform at the Gearbox Christmas party. And the next night, perform at the Peacock Theater. I'm like, oh my God, yes. So we go out there and he flies in. There were eight performers on the bill. And we did the Gearbox show the one night, Peacock the next night. And I'm the 7th performer of 8 on the bill. And there's a sword swallower and a contortion act and a juggler and, a comedian and me. I'm 7th of 8, which back in vaudeville, the act right before the closer, that was the big star billing. It's not true anymore. But I like to remind myself that in vaudeville, that was where you should be on the bill.
You're a star.
So, and the show's going great. Yeah. Everybody's doing like 10 minutes and everybody's killing. And it's in a big hotel ballroom and very festive. And everybody's just doing great, knocking it out of the park. And I'm like, oh, this is great. It's such a great crowd. And they introduced me and I go out there. And my opening bit, which is like a 30-second quickie that's very attention-getting, and it's there to grab the audience's attention and show them that I know what I'm doing. I'm not fucking around. And got no reaction. I'm like, okay. And so I go on and I tell my first couple of jokes, and my first couple of jokes get like nothing. I'm like, oh my God. And so I go on.
You're making my palms sweat.
Like three more tricks.
I'm like,
whew. Yeah. And I was thinking the flop set, and I'm thinking, oh my God. And I'm thinking, oh my God, Randy Randy's going to think I suck. Oh my God, he'll never hire me again. God, I'm going to have to give him his money back. Well, gee, oh my God. And I get through it, and I get nothing out of the crowd, and I finish, and I go backstage, and I'm like, what happened? And I'm like, oh, that I was so excited about being on his roster of performers, and then I see his wife Christy, and I go up to her, and I start to say, Christy, I'm sorry, I'm going to give you your money back. And I walk up to her, and she goes, we know exactly what the problem was. I'm like, what? And she goes, we knew instantly. I'm like, what? And she goes, who are you performing for? And I'm like, the Gearbox software employees. And she said, yeah, what's their most successful product? And I went, Borderlands. And she says, who's the villain in Borderlands? I went, Handsome Jack. And she goes, yeah, they were all confused. Someone said, and ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Handsome Jack. And then this asshole walks out, and they're all going, what?
What?
So
where's Handsome Jack?
Well, I don't get it. Is he gonna introduce Handsome Jack, or is he gonna take his keep off and become it? What is? They spent the whole 10 minutes because they didn't get the joke.
That's so funny. That is so funny.
Cookie Party, one of our viewers knows Hyperion CEO, Handsome Jack. Yeah, that's who you are. So maybe if you ever do another one of those. Well, see, that's the problem.
I'm calling up Hyperion. I'm calling up Hyperion. Say, hire me to do your job. You'll get a great story out of it.
That's by the way, that's your character's company in the Borderlands game. That's what that is. The Hyperion is your company in that game.
Oh, wow. Later. Great friends with Randy, but I know nothing about that video game or any video games. Yeah.
Stuart Ross is giving you some props for that story. It is a good one. I agree.
Thanks, Stuart Ross. Yeah. Is Stuart the Stuart that I'm thinking of?
I believe so.
Puddles manager Stuart? Is that
Stuart? Our
yeah,
Stuart,
okay.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Stuart. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
Wait, how did you get into magic originally? Like, I just think it's so fascinating how we find ourselves in these it doesn't seem weird to me because this is all we've been doing forever and ever. But I worked a corporate job for 3 years, you know. And when I would tell stories, people were like, "What? What are you? What?" So I'm just fascinated. Like, how did you get into it?
Well, long story short, I was always interested in magic, but I grew up in a tiny little town in Montana. There are no magicians, and no magic shops or shows to see or anything. So, or people, or human beings. And so I was interested in it. I would if there was ever a magician on the Tonight Show, you can be damn sure I was staying up past my bedtime but that's as far as I got. I had no one to learn magic from or no people to perform it for. And so it wasn't until after grad school that, a girl hurt me bad and I needed a hobby. And as one of my roommates said, we went through kind of the same thing at the same time. And he went with the mountain of cocaine. I picked a deck of cards.
And you went for the real chick magnet.
And so it was a hobby
career.
Well, that's the deal. Is I heard that magicians get all the groupies, and it wasn't until 10 years later I realized they said musicians, not magicians, and by then it was too late to pick up a guitar. But so I was living in Seattle at the time, and there were 2 magic shops in Seattle. So I started in on the hobby, and I dove in big time. And the hobby just slowly, over the course of the next 20 years, just took over my life. I didn't want to do it full time. That wasn't my goal, to be a professional magician. But it just, like a snowball, it just took over my life until everything else fell away. And now here we are. Here
Here we are. Well, we're glad for it. You mentioned you were in university. I didn't realize you had a master's in fine arts. I'm very impressed by that.
I do. I have an MFA in theater directing, and that's what I was doing mostly as my magic was growing. Is I was working in theater and film and TV and radio, and I did almost any job you could name in those 4 fields.
Wow.
But
that's really cool.
That's like the distant ancient history now.
Yeah. And now
I got a question for you.
Sure.
We're going to get personal now. And now, are you and Dave married?
Are we married? Yes. We were actually never completely divorced.
Have you?
Ooh, breaking news.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you didn't marry him twice, like people think.
No. We actually were married, and then we split up for nearly 10 years. And in that time, we had started the process, and then because of some other, everybody knows Dave's story, but some stuff up in Canada, we had to pause it. I paused it to help out, and then just sort of left it. Never came back to it. And then, so it made it easier when we got back together that I didn't have to worry about
I see.
going through all that again.
I think, don't a lot of people think that you married him twice, or is it just me?
No, a lot of people do. And in fact, just recently saw, I think on I don't know if it's IMDb or Wiki or something, they still have us not together. So.
No. Well,
it's convenient, I guess.
So so what you're saying is there's some inaccurate information on the internet somewhere.
What? I can't believe it. I can't believe it. But yeah, apparently there's some misinformation out there. But you so now you are obviously we met you. I think I met you at Brookledge, right? It must have been through Brookledge.
I believe that's probably true. Yes.
Yeah, I think we met at Brookledge. But you are at the Magic Castle. Well, when the Magic Castle was open, quite often, and you've been nominated as Parlor Magician of the Year many times.
Well, so that sucks that it's closed because it's such a fun night. Always.
Yeah. And we just can only hope that they eventually reopen, which I believe they will. But you don't know. There's no way to predict anything about the next 2 years or even the next 10 years. So
I mean, I really don't know. I know Broadway's planning to open up again in June, but I don't know if it's going to happen. Who knows? It's crazy. Everything's going to change. Like all of our, obviously we're doing virtual shows, but everybody we know is a live performer, and it's their livelihoods have been taken away from them. But.
Yeah, what that reminds me
this is fun.
Recently on Facebook. Recently on Facebook, I posted a photo from the movie Touch of Evil, the Orson Welles movie, and I said my favorite scene. I said my favorite scene in Touch of Evil is when Orson Welles goes to Marlene Dietrich as the fortune teller, and he says, "Tell me my fortune," and she says, "Your future is all used up." And then I said, I miss having a future. That was kind of my punchline. I miss having a future. And people on Facebook, then people started commenting, "Oh, I love that movie. And what's your favorite Orson Welles movie? And Marlene Dietrich is so good." And after enough of that, I went back on. I said, "Oh, I don't know who needs to hear this, but this was not a comment about Touch of Evil."
I think a lot of times maybe people don't pay attention.
No.
Yeah.
I would love to. I have a clip.
We're living in the.
We're living in the. Go ahead.
No, I think I know what you're going to say too. Like it is like, especially for someone like me, I'm such a planner and such a always forward thinking, that to be in this moment of I can't plan anything.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know who came up with this term, but I call it the eternal now. We're living in the eternal now, and there is no future.
Well, yeah. I guess it's you know, if there's ever a time where, you know, be present means something, it's now, right? So
yeah,
not living.
Well, yeah. Now being present always sounded great when there was a future, but now there isn't a future. So being in the present is not as great as it used to be.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of lost its charm.
And we didn't have a plan.
Yeah.
Well, back when there were live shows,
I didn't mean to like be yeah.
No, we'll always go there. We always, as you saw in the beginning.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, back when there were live shows, you were on the Penn and Teller. What's the show called? Penn and Teller.
Fool Us.
Fool Us. I was going to fool me. No, it's not fool me. I would love to show a clip from that, if you don't mind. I better share the audio so we can all hear it. All right. Okay. Everybody can see that? Here we go.
Yep.
All right.
Hello,
that's you.
Vegas.
You're on TV.
Prepare yourselves for the Handsome Jack experience. Anybody who does not want to get his mind blown out of his ass should leave the room now. All right, you've been warned. Now, when the producers called me about being on this show, found out it's a 60-minute show, so I prepared 1 hour of kick-ass magic for you fine folks. Then I get here, I find out the producers have hired a bunch of other magicians, and I get 5 minutes, because apparently nobody cares about ratings around here. So I of Handsome Jack Experience handbills. I was going to distribute them to everybody. Gives you the complete rundown of everything I was going to do tonight. It even tells you everything you need to know about Handsome Jack. Ladies, once you go Jack, you never go back. That's right. So since we're a little pressed for time tonight, I will just have to tell you about the things you won't be seeing me do tonight. Can't do this one. You won't see me doing, there's a hair in my hat. This is the mighty Cheese Whiz. Won't have time to seesaw a woman in two. This is a good one. The Diner's Dilemma. That's a tribute to civil rights. We just got time for one this evening, and that is, the torn and restored handbill. Perfect. So here we go. You know what? Don't say anything. I don't care if I fooled you. I'll let someone else win the car. What's that? The prize is not a car. Well, then I really don't care if I fooled them. One of my mottos has always been magic is fun once you know how it's done. So I'm just going to show everybody how I did that. To do this, I needed a special magician's device called a grappler. I've got a grappler up my sleeve here. I'll show it to you. Now, I had an extra one of those handbills hidden inside the grappler. The grappler is a mechanical device. It shot the handbill out of my sleeve into my hand, and then it grabbed all those torn pieces and yanked them back up my sleeve. Now, it's mechanical, but it's not entirely self-working. It still requires what we magicians call misdirection. I'll show you the misdirection I was using. In fact, I tell you what, I will get up on the chair so you can all see the misdirection I was using. Do you remember I took all those torn pieces and I fanned them out like this? I knew if I was to do a very careful, deliberate action like that, you'd all be staring right up here. And while you were all staring right up here, probably none of you noticed when I went ahead and I dropped my pants. Now, once my pants were down, I was able to get my knees hooked together. And once my knees were hooked together, because of this cable that runs up my arm and down my leg, I was able to get this action going on. Watch, it starts down here and ends up over here. Watch. So you can see, it's not the hands that are quick in the eye, it's the knees that are quicker than the eye. So this just proves my motto, that magic is fun once you know how it's done. Am I right, people? There is still a problem sometimes you can encounter when you're using the grappler, and that is sometimes the people up close, they can see up your sleeve, and they can see all the torn pieces up your sleeve. And if that happens, well, then you have to resort to plan B. And plan B is what we call taking care of business, Handsome Jack style.
Awesome. Yay! I love that. Yeah, that is awesome.
Well, thank you. I haven't seen that in a while.
No,
I said thank you. I have not seen that in a while.
Sorry, you're it's a little choppy, your connection. No, it's great. It's so fun. And you fooled them. You like they were, I remember that. They were fooled. Yeah, it was great. Well, plans for the rest of the pandemic?
I'm just going to try and keep getting more writing assignments. Keep writing magic books. And I'm just now, after 8 months, like I said, after 8 months of basically not leaving my apartment, I'm just now slowly starting to do things like, meet friends, like in their backyard at a distance and, having a coffee and things like that. I've started to realize we can kind of go back to real life a little bit, and if we're safe and smart about it. So I'm starting to do that now,
All right. Well, stay safe out there.
Right.
You what? You're in Vegas right now.
I just said, I'm in Vegas right now. I'm working on a book and I had to come out here and do some research. So I'm staying safe and sort of, this is the first kind of real world thing I've done in 8 months. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Well, stay safe.
I haven't gotten there yet.
Start planning your C&C video or live.
Oh, yeah.
You can be on our show
I gotta
live.
Figure out. Yeah, I gotta figure out something to do. It's doing magic.
It's a hard thing to do on video.
It's a weird thing. But I'll figure out something. I think. Yeah. I hope. Yeah.
Yes. Well, we always love having you, and
yes. Oh my God! Thank you for those Steve Wyrick stories. Yeah. Holy moly!
Hilarious. That was great.
We got to talk next time we see each other in person.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I love the show, and I love both of you. And
thank you.
I'm thrilled you had me on. So thanks.
Well, thank you. We're thrilled to have you on.
Thank you for doing it.
And always happy to have you. So we love you.
Great.
Have a great night and have a great rest of the pandemic. Bye.
Oh wait, one more. Well, hold on. One more fun comment.
Oh yeah. Here we go. Great to see you, Handsome Jack.
2 T's.
I loved you.
2 T's.
Great to see you, Handsome Jack. Loved you in A Touch of Evil. That's our friend Joe Utzler. Well, thanks everybody for joining us, for watching. We had Richard Morales does all of our graphics, and we are so eternally grateful to him. Next week we have the Hot Toddy Tipsy Dancers.
The Hot Toddies. I think we only are missing one, Sarah, but we have seen Sarah. She came on with her husband Joseph. But yeah, we're gonna have the dancers on.
Yeah, so that should be fun.
And then about how we make them do weird things,
weird costumes, and then Monday mornings we have our Monday morning at 8:30 Pacific, our weekly check-in that we are getting back onto. So join us for that. And don't forget to please subscribe on YouTube. He's got his C. Mine is an empty cup now. My C is an empty cup. All right. Love you, Jack. And we'll love you all out there. Take care, everybody.